Do you ever read an assigned chapter for your upcoming class, but when you finish, you feel like you can't remember anything that you just read? It might seem like a waste of time and effort, and that there's no sense in reading them at all, or you might just convince yourself that surely you retained something and just continue to passively read your chapters and hope for the best. The SQ4R reading method is a strategy you can use to change the way you approach your readings, and not only make it a better use of your time, but also prepare yourself for upcoming tests and exams in the meantime. SQ4R stands for Survey, Question, Read, Recite, Review, and Relate. Start by surveying the chapter. This means start with the title and think to yourself, okay, what do I already know about this topic? Are you coming at it with prior knowledge and understanding, or is this going to be all brand new material for you? Flip to the end of the chapter and read the chapter summary if there is one. This summary is going to highlight the main and important facts and make you all the more likely to pick up on them once you actually get to reading the chapter. In some textbooks, they may list learning objectives or something along those lines at the beginning or end of the chapter, usually marked by some special formatted section, and that would be the same idea. You want to figure out what the author of this chapter wants you to take away from it once you finish. Next, go through and highlight all headings and subheadings. If you don't want to mark up your textbook, that's fine. Just skim through them and give yourself a preview of what is about to be covered. Pay attention to any special illustrations or graphics that they have included. Next is the questioning step. You want to turn all of those headings and subheadings into questions. Make notes of these questions with room beneath each to fill in the answer. Making the questions should be simple. If you just think how you can turn it into a question by using the simple who, what, where, when, why, how method. My example on this slide shows that I turned the subheading development of neurons into how do neurons develop. You want these questions to be simple and straightforward. Now you read. One section at a time, you are going to read through the paragraphs and look for answers to the questions you turned the headings into. This helps you to read with intent. You are consciously focused on the content and are actively, not passively, reading for the sake of finding the information. During this time, you may find you need to alter the question to fit the answer you find. So, for example, if in the paragraph below the development of neurons heading, I actually found out when they develop, I would change my question heading to when instead of how. As you read, you want to make note of any vocabulary or highlighted statements, often in bold print or in a special section, like in this text. When you're taking your notes of the answers you find, try to put them into your own words. Once you see the answer they give, think of how you would explain it. By putting it into your own words, you will be more likely to actually understand and retain the content rather than just mindlessly copying down their information word for word. Next comes the reciting stage. Go through your notes and ask yourself the questions from the headings and see if you can recall the answers. Go through your notes out loud. Seriously, hearing yourself say the content out loud in your own voice helps you remember it. You can put these questions and answers onto cue cards, questions on the front, answers on the back, and use them to really test your ability to recall. The next step is to review. You need to make reviewing your notes a regular part of your schedule. Reviewing these notes before you go to class will help you have the content fresh on your mind. You can also review these notes right after class, adding in any additional information that the instructor brought up in class. This might include jotting down examples that they mention, clarification of terms, and so on. Using your cue cards for the flashcard method is a great way of studying in a group, where you can quiz each other on the content. Discussing the answers with others will help you remember them, as well as give you the opportunity to hear things explained in a different way. The last step is to relate. You want to relate the content you've read to what you already know. How does this information connect to what we learned last week? Do you have any life experience that connects to what it is saying? Making these connections is going to help you solidify your understanding and be able to remember it when you're writing your exam, or better yet, when you're out in the workplace when you're done. So there we go. That is the SQ4R reading method. It may initially seem like more work than just reading through the textbook, but this method will supply you with ready-to-go study notes, and your time will be spent actually learning the material. Studying before exams will be a matter of reviewing and refreshing it in your mind, and not trying to frantically find the information and understand it for the first time. So give it a try. If you have any questions or need clarification at all, come see me in room 109. I'm happy to help.